On May 5, 2019, a Russian airliner carrying 78 people lifted off from Moscow, heading north to Murmansk. The plane was a Sukhoi superjet, just 2 years old, meant to show off the future of Russian aviation, but that flight would never make it. Takeoff seemed fine, just another evening climb into the sky, but minutes later, the jet flew straight into a storm. At about 29,000 feet, lightning struck. In an instant, the plane lost its main radio, autopilot, and all the computer safety systems pilots usually rely on. The captain had to fly it manually in what's called direct mode. He sent out distress codes, first signaling radio failure, then a full emergency. Instead of diverting elsewhere, he decided to return to Moscow. The problem? The plane was still heavy with fuel. The approach was rough. Warnings were going off non-stop, but the crew pressed on. When they touched down, the jet slammed the runway so hard it bounced 3 times. On the third hit, the landing gear punched through the wing, ripping open the fuel tanks. Fire erupted instantly. Within seconds, the flame tore through the back of the cabin, and in just 17 seconds, the whole rear was an inferno. Out of 78 people on board, 41 never made it out, not from the crash itself, but from the fire, smoke, and a chaotic evacuation. Some passengers grabbed luggage, clogging the aisles, while only the front exits could be used. The back was already gone to flames. The tragedy sparked questions. Why didn't they dump fuel? Why risk such a hard landing? And why weren't fire crews already waiting when the distress call went out? Later, investigators blamed the captain's landing as the main cause, though they also flagged design flaws and poor emergency response. He was convicted of negligence and sentenced to 6 years in prison. In the end, this wasn't just a crash, it was a chain reaction. Bad weather, system failures, risky choices, and delayed rescue. And for 41 passengers, what should have been a routine flight turned into a firestorm they couldn't escape. On July 3, 2021, the normally peaceful seaside city of Atami in Japan's Shizuoka Prefecture was hit by an event straight out of a disaster film. Atami sits about 68 miles from Tokyo, a quiet resort town famous for its hot springs and ocean views. But in that morning, after days of relentless rainfall, the earth itself turned against it. Over 12 inches of rain fell in just 48 hours. The sodden hillsides gave way, creating a violent torrent of mud, trees, cars, and debris that thundered into the city. The landslide swallowed the entire streets, flattened homes, and carried everything in its path like toys. By the time the disaster subsided, 27 people had been killed, with dozens of families left grieving. It's a chilling reminder that when the ground beneath us decides to move, human strength and preparation often mean nothing. On June 25, 2014, Charles Bothwell appeared on live television, pleading for help in finding his 12-year-old son, Charlie. The boy had been reported missing from their Detroit home 11 days earlier, sparking an FBI-assisted search across the city. Posters went up, neighbors were questioned, and the desperate father went door to door, hoping for any clue about where his child might be. During an interview on The Nancy Grace Show, Charles looked distraught, recounting his endless search efforts, but midway through the broadcast, the program received breaking news that shocked not only viewers, but Charles himself.
Missing 12-year-old boy, Charlie. With me is his father, Charlie Bothell, that your son has been found in your basement.
Investigators had just located Charlie alive, hidden in the basement of his own home. Nancy Grace read the update aloud in real time, and cameras captured Charles's bewildered reaction.
How could your son be alive in your basement?
I have no idea.
Instead of rushing off sad to reunite with his son, he seemed confused, even defensive, insisting that he had checked the basement multiple times and accusing authorities of being mistaken. To many viewers, his response felt unnervingly cold.
Did you check your basement?
I checked my basement, the FBI checked my basement, the Detroit police checked my basement, my wife checked my basement.
The truth soon came out. According to Charlie, it was his stepmother, Monique Dillard Bothwell, who had ordered him to hide in the basement and stay silent, no matter what noises he heard upstairs. For days, he lived cramped behind boxes and barrels while his father publicly begged for help on national TV. When police finally found him, Charlie was bruised, scarred, and malnourished, clear signs of abuse. As investigators dug deeper, they uncovered the boy's horrifying daily routine, hundreds of sit-ups, push-ups, and jumping jacks enforced by his parents as a twisted punishment regime. He had been isolated from society, homeschooled, and subjected to relentless control, thinking his disappearance was just another way to tighten their grip on him. Charles and Monique were arrested and eventually struck a plea deal, avoiding jail but losing custody of Charlie forever. The boy now lives safely with relatives, but the footage of his father learning about the basement discovery remains one of the most surreal and disturbing moments ever broadcast live. It was just after 1 a.m. on March 25, 2024, when a massive container ship rolled out of Baltimore's Seagirt Marine Terminal, its destination, Colombo, Sri Lanka. But it never made it that far. What happened instead shook Baltimore to its core. The Francis Scott Key Bridge wasn't just another bridge. Since 1977, it has been a vital artery, one of the longest steel truss bridges in the U.S., carrying thousands of people every day, and in a matter of seconds, it would be gone. The ship, the Dolly, was loaded with nearly 5,000 containers and crewed by 21 sailors. But there was a problem that night. The vessel's power system had already failed twice before it even left port. One issue caused by an exhaust damper being closed by mistake, another by a drop in fuel pressure. To keep moving, the crew switched the ship's electrical setup. That decision would prove disastrous. At 1:25 a.m., just as the Dolly reached the key bridge, the power went out again. The ship went dark. No steering, no brakes, nothing. Within moments, its massive bow plowed into one of the bridge's support piers. The impact was catastrophic. 6 huge spans of steel collapsed in seconds, some crashing onto the ship, the rest plunging into the icy river. And on that bridge were 8 construction workers, men just patching potholes on an overnight shift. 2 survived. 6 others, Alejandro Dorlin, Mir, Carlos, Miguel, and Jose never came home. Their bodies were unrecovered for more than 6 weeks. Investigators later discovered the root cause, a single loose electrical cable in the ship's power system. That one flaw triggered the blackouts that doomed the Dolly. But the tragedy wasn't only about the ship. The bridge itself had never undergone proper vulnerability testing. In fact, its risk level was found to be 30 times higher than was acceptable for a major structure. This wasn't bad luck, it was a preventable failure, compounded by neglect and oversight. Now lawsuits are flying. Baltimore's economy is reeling and families are left with nothing but grief. Because at the end of the day, this disaster wasn't about storms or nature. It was about wires, decisions, and negligence. And when all those cracks line up at once, it doesn't just bring down a bridge, it brings down lives, livelihoods, and an entire city. If you've ever ridden a motorcycle at speed, you know the terror of a wobble. Riders call it a death wobble for a reason, because once it starts, there is often no saving it. This clip captures that nightmare in real time. The rider was racing down a city street at well over 100 miles per hour. For a moment, it looked like he had control, then the front end snapped side to side violently, shaking the bike like a rag doll. Within seconds, the wobble became a crash, and the rider was thrown hard into the pavement. He was lucky, very lucky. The account that uploaded this video confirmed he survived, though with serious injuries. Watching the way he slams into the asphalt, you'd expect far worse. It's a painful reminder that at those speeds, even the smallest instability can turn into disaster. The bike may wobble, but the consequences never do. They hit with full force. During a violent thunderstorm over northern Texas on September 6, 2025, something strange was caught on camera around 9:30 p.m. local time.
Oh, that's a tornado upside down?
That's what it looks like an upside down tornado, dude.
Hey, wild rage. And it's moving.
At first, it looked like nothing more than lightning tearing through the clouds, illuminating the sky in quick bursts of white and blue.
I told you, babe.
Boy, is there somebody flying?
But then witnesses noticed something lurking in the storm. A massive dark shape seemed to loom within the cloud itself, growing larger with every flash of light.
Oh, it's just getting bigger and bigger.
Nah, dude, that's some scary.
No.
Eyewitnesses compared it to an upside-down tornado, while others swore it looked like a gigantic craft cloaked in the storm. One child can even be heard asking, "Is there somebody flying?" as the object continued to hang in place.
I told her that, and she didn't see. I was like, "Do you see this?" Like, no.
I think that's a car.
Commenters online immediately jumped to theories. Some insisted it was an alien ship harnessing the storm's energy, while skeptics claimed it was nothing more than a trick of shadow and light. Whatever it was, the sight was unnerving. Was this just a rare weather illusion captured at the perfect moment, or did the Texas skies briefly reveal something extraordinary?
No, that's an airplane.
Girl, not the little motherfucking airplane up there. I told you, babe.
On the night of November 19th, 2014, firefighters in Rockville, Maryland, battled a raging blaze that tore through a 2-story home. Flames devoured the structure, lighting up the night sky, and it took over an hour to bring the inferno under control. When the smoke cleared, the home was reduced to a skeletal ruin. While news crews covered the destruction, 27-year-old Carlos Peralta, one of the residents, casually approached an ABC7 reporter and made a statement so bizarre, many assumed he was joking. With cameras rolling, he admitted, Me, I set it on fire.
Me, I set it on fire.
At first, the reporter brushed it off, but Carlos doubled down, explaining in detail how he poured gasoline on the floor, lit the match, and left to buy a drink before returning to watch the fire spread.
Gasoline on the floor, set it on fire and went to buy a drink and came back.
Minutes later, he repeated the confession to nearby police officers, who quickly confirmed the story when they noticed the smell of gasoline on his clothes and a lighter in his pocket. Carlos claimed he started the fire to draw attention to the terrible living conditions inside the house, but investigators soon uncovered a far more tragic reality. He had a long history of mental illness, including schizophrenia and alcoholism, and had even been arrested for property destruction just 2 weeks earlier. The blaze caused over $400,000 in damage, but miraculously, all 5 other residents, including Carlos's own mother, escaped unharmed. While the outcome of his trial was never publicly released, his on-camera confession remains a haunting example of how fragile the line between reason and chaos can be. A night shift nurse named Nana put a camera in a hospital room after staff kept finding its call light activated for no reason. Night after night, the same room would ping the nurse's station, but whenever someone checked, the bed sat empty, the room unused. Frustrated and curious, Nana left a camera running through the overnight hours. The footage she posted online shows the unoccupied bed shifting up and down on its own, the mattress rising and lowering with no remote, no patient, nothing to explain the motion. Since the upload, viewers have argued fiercely. Some feel hospitals collect echoes of pain and loss that linger in the air. Others insist the clip is proof of something paranormal. Skeptics have offered no firm alternative, so for now the mystery remains. Another strange story from the graveyard shift. It was the evening of August 21, 1986 in northwest Cameroon. Families were getting dinner ready, cattle were tied up for the night, and villages around Lake MYUU were settling into their usual rhythm. Nobody had any idea that within hours, a silent slayer would sweep through, taking nearly 2,000 lives. Around 9:30 p.m., people near the lake heard a sound like distant thunder. Some thought it was a storm, others a small landslide. Then a strange foul smell drifted through the air. Suddenly, people just collapsed. No struggle, no screaming, just unconscious. By morning, the horrifying truth emerged. Nearly 1,746 people were dead, along with thousands of cattle, birds, and other animals. The eeriest part? There was no sign of panic or violence. Everyone had just stopped breathing. Scientists later discovered what had happened. Lake MYUU sits above a volcanic area, and over centuries, carbon dioxide had seeped from magma deep underground into the lake's cold bottom waters. Normally, it stays trapped, but that night something disturbed the balance. The gas surged upward, heavier than air, and silently rolled down valleys into the villages. It was a rare limnic eruption, and nobody was prepared. For survivors, it was a nightmare. Parents woke to find children dead beside them. Farmers only survived because they'd slept on higher ground. Unlike floods or storms, there was no visible enemy, just a deadly, invisible force.
It was at night. I was asleep with my children. I heard an explosion but didn't make much of it. When I woke up the next morning, I discovered some of my children were dead. Those who were still alive would cough out some powdery substance. I was also affected.
2 years earlier, a small lake nearby had slain 37 people, but nobody expected a far bigger disaster at MYUU. Afterward, scientists from around the world came to study the lake. They realized this could happen again if the gas built up, so they devised a degassing system. Pipes were inserted into the lake to slowly release CO2 before it could become deadly. The first pipe even shot a 50-meter fountain of gas from pressure below. Today, continuous degassing keeps the lake safe, and villagers have returned, though many still live with unease.
The first degassing pipe was put inside in 2001. The fountain was 50 meters high because of the pressure of carbon dioxide below. But now when you see it that low, it means that all the carbon dioxide is...
Lake MYUU is more than a local tragedy. It's a stark reminder that our planet holds hidden forces, silent, invisible, and capable of devastation. Almost 40 years later, the memory of that night lingers for families, survivors, and scientists alike, teaching the world to respect nature's quietest dangers. On July 27, 2007, Phoenix, Arizona became the site of one of the most shocking tragedies ever caught during live news coverage. News helicopters hovered above the city, tracking a stolen flatbed truck as police pursued it through crowded streets. Dozens of viewers followed along as the chase grew more dramatic, but the real danger wasn't on the ground, it was in the sky.
Can't go much further.
Stop. This may be the end of this thing.
Well, he's taking off running.
Okay, now it's a foot chase.
Okay, now he's jumped into another vehicle.
Okay.
All right, they're closing in. Looks like they've...
Oh, jeez.
We're going to pull out. We don't know what has just happened right there. It looks like the police have closed in on him. We don't know what exactly has transpired between the police.
At one point, as the suspect fled on foot, 2 live helicopter feeds abruptly cut out. Viewers didn't realize it immediately, but both aircraft had collided mid-air and crashed into a nearby park in a fiery explosion. On board were Craig Smith and Rick Krolak of ABC affiliate KNXV, along with Scott Bowerbank and Jim Cox from Phoenix station KTVK. All 4 men died instantly. Their colleagues, still broadcasting live, were horrified as they realized what had just happened.
Jesus. Oh my gosh. Oh. Phoenix Tower, Skyblock 10. Just had a mid-air collision over here at the park. 2 helicopters down. Oh my God.
Investigators later determined the crash was caused by a failure to see and avoid, a tragic lapse as the pilots juggled multiple responsibilities, including flying, communicating with traffic control, and reporting the chase live. In those few critical seconds, awareness slipped, and 2 helicopters drifted fatally close. The only consolation was that the helicopters fell into an empty park, sparing further loss of life, but the tragedy forced sweeping changes in how aerial news is covered, leading to shared helicopter feeds and stricter safety rules, measures that continue to protect lives today. Still, the images of that day remain etched in broadcast history, a chilling reminder that even the observers of danger can suddenly become part of it. On April 29, 2022, the quiet city of Andover, Kansas, found itself staring down a monster. A homeowner pointed his camera toward the horizon as a storm cell darkened the sky. At first, it was just an ominous funnel forming in the distance, but within minutes, that swirling mass of air grew into a fully fledged EF3 tornado, and it was headed straight for him. Instead of fleeing, he stood his ground, recording as the tornado chewed through neighborhoods, tearing roofs and trees out of the ground. By the time it reached his backyard, the storm was a roaring wall of wind. Incredibly, he only retreated at the very last second, just before his yard disappeared into the swirling chaos. Miraculously, despite the scale of destruction, there were no fatalities that day. But watching this footage, it's hard to believe. The sheer power of a tornado that size is beyond comprehension. One wrong choice in this clip could have been evidence of a tragedy instead of a close call. In one small home, a toddler began whispering about things no child should know. The mother started filming after her daughter Mabel calmly announced that Daddy was hiding in her bedroom, a chilling claim because Mabel's father had died years before she was born.
Okay, who is it?
Daddy. Daddy's right there.
Is it your daddy?
No, it's your daddy.
Is where?
Daddy's right there.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay, show me.
See?
Oh.
Your daddy's missing you.
My daddy's missing me?
That's your him.
Let's go get him. Where'd he go?
In him.
Okay, show me.
In the recording, the little girl points, names the man in an old photograph the mother shows her, and calls him my daddy ghost. She even describes him giving her a heart.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, it looks like that.
Daddy. Hey, Daddy.
Whether you believe children are unusually receptive to otherworldly impressions or simply prone to vivid imagination, the certainty in Mabel's voice unnerved everyone who watched. It's a personal, unsettling encounter that asks, is this a child's invention, or is she remembering someone she never met? On the night of August 30, 2024, the war-torn city of Aden, Yemen, was rocked by something even locals hardened by years of conflict described as different, a blast unlike anything they'd heard before. The videos that surfaced soon after showed why. At first, a fire burned in the distance as crowds gathered in the street. Then, without warning, a massive explosion tore through the night. The fireball lit up the city and the shockwave ripped across blocks, throwing debris and people alike. The sound alone is enough to send chills down your spine. Local reports confirmed that the blast originated from 2 gas stations that had caught fire. When the flames reached their storage tanks, the result was inevitable. Several people were injured, and others tragically lost their lives. In a city already scarred by war, the scale of this disaster stood out, a reminder that fuel and fire combined in the wrong place can be every bit as devastating as weapons. Back in late 2010, a video surfaced online that freaked people out like nothing else at the time. Tilted one boy, 2 kittens. It showed a guy putting 2 kittens in a plastic bag and using a vacuum to suck out the air. The kittens died right there. People were horrified, sharing it across forums and social media, desperate to know who this guy was and what he might do next. Soon, more videos popped up, kittens thrown to pythons, cats, duct tape, and drowned. The cruelty was deliberate, recorded, and shared. Animal advocates warned that someone who could do this to animals might escalate to humans. The man behind it all was Luca Magna from Toronto. He posed online as a model and actor, creating countless fake profiles, blogs, and fan pages to control his image. But underneath that facade, he clearly enjoyed the attention his cruelty brought him. A small online activist group, the Animal Beta Project, took notice. They started digging, tracing screen names, photos, and clues. One activist, going by Bot Ven, joined a group called Find the Kitten Vacuum for Great Justice. They found links connecting Luca to the videos, even noticing he was taunting them online. Watching their investigation with fake accounts, by early 2011, they had a major lead. A photo of Luca with GPS data showing he'd been at Toronto's Eden Center weeks before the first kitten video appeared. They passed the info to police and the SPCA, hoping someone would stop him. A detective even said he wanted to catch Luca more than anyone, but authorities didn't act decisively, and Luca stayed free. By 2012, the fear turned real. Luca escalated from animals to humans. On May 25, he filmed himself murdering June Lin, a 23-year-old engineering student from Montreal. He stabbed June Lin, dismembered the body, and mailed parts to political offices in schools. The activist's worst fears had come true. A manhunt stretched across the globe. Luca fled Canada, went through France, and was finally caught in Berlin in June 2012 at an internet cafe, reading about himself online. He was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life, but the damage was done. The case is a chilling lesson. Cruelty to animals isn't just a sadistic act. It can be a warning. The online community had seen it coming and warned authorities, but June Lin still died. For the activists, it was a mix of pride. They uncovered Luca's identity and heartbreak, knowing their warnings weren't enough. In the end, Luca Magna isn't just a story about a brutal murder. It's a cautionary tale about ignoring early warning signs and the human cost of cruelty. Those kitten videos weren't just disturbing clips, they were alarms. And when nobody acted, the consequences were devastating. In late August 2025, footage uploaded from Yemen shows a powerful explosion lighting up the night sky. Locals gathered in the street can be heard shouting as flames rise high above the city. But it's what happened immediately after the blast that sparked a wave of speculation online. As smoke billows into the air, a dark object suddenly shoots across a frame. At first glance, it looks like debris thrown from the force of the explosion, but the way it moves, smooth, fast, and controlled, has left many questioning whether it was something else entirely. Some believe it could have been a drone caught in the chaos. While others lean toward a far stranger explanation, an alien craft slipping through unnoticed in the middle of disaster. Skeptics remain convinced it was nothing more than wreckage hurled by the blast, but the unsettling clip continues to fuel debate. In a region already marked by conflict and volatility, this sighting has only added another layer of mystery. On the morning of January 4, 2023, a driver in Moscow set out on what should have been a routine commute. At around 7 a.m., his dashcam captured a scene that would soon turn into something horrific. As he approached a railroad crossing, the gates were down and the warning lights flashing. Another vehicle, a small taxi, was already edging its way across the tracks, far too slowly. Before anyone could react, a massive train thundered into view, slamming directly into the taxi with unrelenting force. The impact was catastrophic. The car was dragged down the tracks like a crushed soda can, sparks flying as metal shredded beneath the wheels. Inside the taxi were two people, the passenger and the driver. Both were killed instantly. What remained of the car barely resembled a vehicle at all, just twisted wreckage strewn across the tracks. Local media described it as a pile of mangled steel, proof of how devastating trains can be when vehicles ignore warnings. It all happened in seconds, but the destruction left behind told a story that no one would forget. The school caretaker out on his evening rounds thought the building was empty until he heard it. At first a faint sound, then distinct footsteps and a movement that didn't belong. He fished out his phone and recorded as a shadowy figure zipped past his camera and disappeared down the corridor. He raced after it, but there was nothing. No footsteps, no disturbance, no one to be found. The clip is brief and easy to miss, yet undeniable when you slow it down. A blink and you'll miss its silhouette vanishing without a trace.
What the
Was it a triggerlight, a startled animal, or something that simply didn't want to be seen? Disasters don't always show up with flashing warning signs. Sometimes a day feels completely normal until suddenly it isn't. June 3, 2018 started like any other morning in Guatemala. The skies were clear, streets near Volcán de Fuego were quiet, and people went about their routines. Now, for anyone who doesn't know Volcán de Fuego, the volcano of fire is one of Central America's most active volcanoes. Locals were used to its small bursts of smoke and ash every 15-20 minutes. It was almost background noise, harmless, or so it seemed. But that day, just around noon, everything changed.
Ala, miren, ala, sí, lo bastante. Híjole. Pero aquí no llega.
Without much warning, the volcano erupted violently. Ash, fire, and rock shot miles into the sky. This wasn't the usual rumble. Pyroclastic flows, superheated waves of gas and rock, hotter than 700 degrees Celsius, came racing down the slopes. Entire towns were swallowed in minutes. One man even filmed the eruption, joking with others that it wouldn't reach them. Within hours, every single person in that video was gone. At first, officials reported 33 dead, but as days passed, the toll kept rising. Close to 200 confirmed, thousands more estimated, and hundreds still missing. Crops, roads, bridges, all wiped out. Even the international airport had to shut down as ash blanketed everything. And here's the hardest part. It wasn't just nature's force at play. Warnings were issued, 6 of them starting early that morning, but many people never got them. No cell service, no internet, no way to evacuate in time. Some didn't believe the danger, others simply couldn't leave. By the time reality set in, escape routes were already destroyed. People later argued the government should have done more. Maybe some lives could have been saved, but in truth, fuego erupted faster and fiercer than almost anyone imagined.
Son 50 los que yo tengo desaparecidos. Aquí está toda la colonia, todas las familias enteras, todas están bajo tierra.
¿Usted estaba aquí cuando pasó?
Sí, yo estaba en el callejón, yo les alerté a varias personas y a ellos, pero ellos no quisieron irse. Mi hija lo que hizo con el niño, meterse en la casa de mi mamá y mire, aquí no hay nada. Toda mi familia está aquí sepultada.
¿Usted cree que el gobierno, el Conred, hizo lo suficiente para prevenir a la gente? Porque
no. El Conred no nos dio alerta, él no nos avisó nada, él no dijo nada. ¿Qué es lo que está haciendo el gobierno? Limpiándola.
And that quiet June morning, the volcano of fire didn't care about warnings or preparation. It just erupted, and by the time people realized, it was already too late. March 15th, 2019, Christchurch, New Zealand, should have been just another calm Friday. Instead, it became the site of one of the darkest moments in recent history. A terrorist armed with semi-automatic guns carried out a massacre at 2 mosques and streamed the whole thing live on Facebook. The video starts almost casually. He's driving through quiet streets, helmet cam on, weapons neatly laid out in the car. Then he pulls up to the first mosque, El Noor, where Friday prayers are happening. Inside, men, women, and young ones are gathered, completely unaware of what's about to hit them. When he steps out and opens fire, chaos erupts instantly. People try to flee, shield loved ones, hide. None of it matters. He moves methodically, calmly, like it's rehearsed, firing without mercy. Those already injured are targeted again. He even goes back to his car mid-rampage to grab more ammo.
By that time, the police has arrived and ambulance came to rescue the people. Those were injured and the dead people was inside the mosque and outside because the gun shooter, when he was inside shooting and then he came out.
After El Noor, he drives to the second mosque, Linwood Islamic Center, narrating casually along the way, as if he's playing a video game.
Changing his gun and then he went again inside and where the people were visible in the road on the street, he just he just shot all the people, those were inside, outside of the mosque.
There he continues the massacre. By the end, 51 people are dead, including children as young as 3, and 40 more are wounded. Survivors describe pretending to be dead or frantically searching for family. The live stream lasted just 17 minutes, but it spread fast, leaving psychological scars for anyone who glimpsed it. Authorities in New Zealand banned sharing the video, calling it a weaponized piece of propaganda, but fragments still circulate, keeping the trauma alive for survivors and families. Investigators later revealed he'd spent years planning, training, and immersing himself in extremist content online. He chose New Zealand deliberately for its symbolic shock, and the live stream was part of a calculated strategy to terrorize and spread his ideology. The Royal Commission of Inquiry found failures in the system. Right-wing extremism had been underestimated, and warning signs were missed. The footage became more than a record of violence. It was a slayer's production, a stage broadcast of terror. In the aftermath, New Zealand banned military-style semi-automatic weapons. World leaders pushed for stricter social media oversight, and communities held vigils in solidarity. Yet for many, the live stream remains the most haunting part, a reminder how technology can amplify hatred and turn a sacred place into a global spectacle of horror. For those who survived, and for the families who lost loved ones, the video is more than a clip. It's a wound that never fully heals.
Family come out safely?
Yes, I just got news from a friend that they have contact with my wife and son. They are safe. After that, when police come, they ask us to come outside and come this way. But we stay there for 10-15 minutes. We saw many injured, bullets in arms and bombs and everywhere. One woman was lying there. She was just lying on the road, and I don't know how many people died.
Christchurch shows just how fragile safety can be and how darkness can spread not only through bullets, but through pixels. Los Angeles is no stranger to bizarre events, but in March 2022, a clip surfaced that stunned even lifelong residents. Down a steep, hilly street in Echo Park, a driver in a Tesla made a reckless choice that would become infamous.
So everyone.
Witnesses watched in disbelief as the car barreled up one side of the hill at full speed. With no hesitation, it launched off the crest like a ramp, flying through the air in a surreal moment straight out of a movie stunt gone wrong. The Tesla smashed nose first into the street below, skidding out of control before slamming into parked cars. Locals rushed to the scene, many calling 911, others recording the unbelievable aftermath. The driver had already fled, vanishing into the night. News outlets reported that police were investigating and searching for the individual responsible, but as of 2 years later, no updates have surfaced. The Tesla was totaled. Neighbors were furious, and yet the driver seemingly disappeared into thin air. It remains one of LA's strangest and most reckless viral clips. A short but eerie clip filmed near a dam has gone viral and has left viewers divided. The video shows a large dark shape moving steadily beneath the surface of the water. Its size alone is enough to unsettle anyone watching, but it's the way it moves that has people questioning what it might be. Some suggest it could be a massive fish or even an undiscovered aquatic species. Others go further, speculating that it's something out of legend, a modern-day plesiosaur, or perhaps a cryptid hiding in the depths. Skeptics counter that the shape is nothing more than drifting debris or shadows cast by the current. Still, the slow, deliberate movement makes it difficult to dismiss outright. Whether it's a trick of the light or proof of something extraordinary, this short clip has stirred fascination and unease in an equal measure, with many convinced there's more lurking beneath the water than meets the eye. In parts of India, wildlife and human life often collide in dangerous ways, but this clip shows just how thin the line between safety and tragedy can be. A group of people spotted a wild tiger near the roadside, and instead of driving away, they did the unthinkable. They stopped their cars to take pictures. At first, the animal seemed calm, its amber eyes watching from the tall grass, but within moments the tiger grew curious. With a sudden burst of energy, it leapt upward, closing the distance in terrifying fashion. Screams filled the air as the onlookers realized they had made a grave mistake. This was no zoo tiger. It was wild, unpredictable, and deadly. In that instant, the people who were standing closest were inches away from becoming prey. Thankfully, the tiger eventually backed off, but the moment left everyone shaken. The footage serves as a stark warning. Tigers may be beautiful, but they are predators first and foremost. Stop too close, and you might not live to regret it. This is the kind of video that leaves even seasoned investigators shaken. It's known online as the Mexican cartel chainsaw murders, and it shows in brutal detail the final moments of two men, Felix Gans Garcia and his uncle Barnabas Gans Castro. The video opens with them sitting against a wall, hands tied, slouched in defeat. You can see it on their faces. They know what's coming. Both were low-level operatives for the Sinaloa cartel, and the men holding them were from rival Zetas cartel. Calm, menacing voices ask questions they already know the answers to. Felix and Barnabas admit their roles: lookouts, couriers, moving illegal substances and weapons. They even name-drop El Chapo. That admission seals their fate. There's no bravado, no denial, just hollow resignation. Barnabas tries to stay composed. Felix looks terrified, seeking strength from his uncle. But it's clear they're not walking away. Then it gets grotesque. One captor pulls out a chainsaw. The roar alone sends chills. Barnabas is helpless, tied up, and in seconds, the chainsaw does its horrific work. Felix watches trembling as his uncle is decapitated. His turn comes next, slower, methodical, this time with a knife. Every second is captured on camera, leaving nothing to the imagination. What makes it so haunting isn't just the violence, it's that they're real people. There's no soundtrack, no special effects, just two men speaking, answering questions, and then gone. Before dying, Barnabas even warns others not to follow the same path, a desperate plea for anyone watching to turn away from the cartel world. These videos exist for a reason. Cartels don't just kill, they record it, spread it, and make sure it terrifies everyone. A chainsaw, a knife, and a camera become weapons of psychological warfare. Felix and Barnabas weren't bosses, they were pawns, lookouts, small-time couriers. But in the brutal calculus of cartel wars, that's enough to get you slain. The video circulated online, sometimes stripped of context, shocking viewers far removed from the dusty towns where this happened. It is more than just shock content. It's a window into a war where human life is disposable and fear is currency. Even more than a decade later, the footage remains a grim reminder of the cost of organized crime. Felix and Barnabas's deaths aren't just personal tragedies. They're evidence of a much larger nightmare, showing exactly how ruthless these cartels can be. Their story lives on in the grainy images, a warning about the machinery of fear and violence that thrives in the shadows.
Is there alcohol in the vehicle?
No, of course not.
All right. Sit tight, sir. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Your registration is What the?
Sarah?
What the heck? Sarah? 3201.
One of the most baffling pieces of footage comes from a police dashcam. What began as a routine traffic stop turned surreal when mid-check, a young woman simply vanished from the car. No doors open, no one approached. 1 second there was a passenger, the next the seat was empty and silent. The officers had no record, no ID, and no missing persons report linked to her, and to this day, no conclusive explanation has surfaced. It's a kind of vanish that police tapes rarely capture, a small, cold gap where a life should be. Another strange optical illusion has taken over the internet, this time involving nothing more than a child's footprints in the sand.
So it's his niece's footprints in the sand. Let me get my big head out of the way. Okay, so he was at a dinner party and half the people see the footprints into the sand and half of the people saw them coming out of the sand like 3D.
The photo shared by Australian TikToker Alice James shows her niece's tracks along a beach. At first glance, they look completely ordinary, just small feet pressing into soft sand. But take a second look and the image twists. Many people see the opposite, footprints rising out of the sand as though they're three-dimensional shapes pushing upward instead of imprints going down.
When he sent this to me, I kind of squinted my eyes and I can actually see both. So you might have to pause the video or watch it again. But what do you see?
Some viewers can switch between the two interpretations just by squinting or shifting their focus, while others say once they saw one version, they couldn't unsee it. The viral debate has drawn comparisons to the infamous blue and black versus white and gold dress from 2015. Just like that illusion, this photo proves our eyes can be tricked, leaving us questioning what's really in front of us.
Because I can see both. At the moment I'm seeing imprints, but then I can like look away and kind of squint my eyes and look back and I can see them coming out of the sand. It's so weird.
So the question remains, do you see footprints pressed into the beach or rising out of it? Either way, it's a reminder that our brains don't always tell the full story. On April 17, 2024, residents of Ruang Island, part of Indonesia's North Sulawesi province, witnessed an eruption that can only be described as apocalyptic. Mount Ruang, a stratovolcano sitting just 60 miles off the coast, had rumbled before, but nothing compared to the fury it unleashed that day.
Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Ya Allah.
Incredible footage shows a towering column of ash and fire shooting skyward, blackening the skies and raining debris across the island. Shockwaves rattled homes as molten lava cascaded down its slopes. Within hours, evacuation orders were issued for more than 11,000 people who scrambled to boats and shelters as the mountain roared behind them. Miraculously, despite the eruption being one of Indonesia's most powerful in half a century, no lives were lost. Still, the sheer spectacle was terrifying, proof of nature's unmatched destructive force. For those who lived through it, Mount Ruang's eruption will forever stand as a reminder that beneath Indonesia's beauty lies raw, unpredictable power. On the afternoon of August 4th, 2020, Beirut was already struggling. Years of corruption, economic collapse, and public anger had left the city on edge. But at exactly 6:07 p.m., everything changed in an instant. A warehouse at the port packed with 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate exploded in one of the biggest non-nuclear blasts in history. The scale was unimaginable, at least 218 people died, around 7,000 were injured, and some 300,000 were left homeless. For millions around the world, it wasn't just a news story. It was a horror show, captured on camera. Thick gray smoke shot into the sky. Small fires flickered, and people leaned from balconies, filming like it was a regular warehouse fire. Then came the flash, the roar, the shockwave. Glass shattered, steel bent, buildings folded, cars flipped. The city was scarred in seconds. People on the ground couldn't believe it. One resident said it took hours to really process what happened, even after donating blood and hearing the screams around hospitals.
After what I've experienced, it took me hours to absorb everything I've witnessed, everything I've seen, the things I was reading, the testimonies. I went to a hospital to donate some blood, and I heard people scream, so all that was too much for me to handle. And I didn't get enough sleep, so this morning when I opened the news and I saw what was happening, it's when I felt like it happened at this moment. I woke up, it felt like a dream, and that's when I understood that this is a reality I have to accept. And it's something not easy to accept, especially, and this is coming from someone who lives in a country that's we're used to car bombs and wars and attacks, but this is something that beyond what we can handle.
The disaster didn't come out of nowhere. Back in 2013, a ship called the MV Roses docked in Beirut with thousands of tons of ammonium nitrate. Officials knew it was dangerous. They sent letters, warnings, begging ministers and courts to move it or sell it. Nothing happened. The chemical sat there for 7 years, sweating in the Mediterranean heat, a ticking time bomb. By 2020, Lebanon was already fragile, a collapsing currency, banks in chaos, COVID-19 hitting communities, protests filling the streets, and then a fire, maybe sparked by welding, set off the inevitable. What makes the footage unforgettable isn't just the destruction, but the way ordinary life was caught in its path. A bride posing for wedding photos is thrown to the ground. Parents filming their young ones see shards of glass flying across a room. Teenagers recording on their phones are caught in the chaos. In seconds, private moments become shared trauma worldwide. Journalists on the scene describe streets as rubble, cars flattened like toys, luxury buildings reduced to naked concrete columns. People bled openly as neighbors dug through wreckage with bare hands, searching for life.
I was coming from an area North Beirut, going down to my apartment, which is in South Beirut. We passed next to the smoke before the explosion. Prior to the explosion, we passed next to it. I saw it, and then we took a turn. We went because I wanted to head to another area. So the taxi driver went first block, second block. I felt some sort of energy or pressure on my chest, on my body. I knew there was something wrong, and I couldn't hear anymore. There's just this beep sound. Then I didn't know what to do. I wanted to talk, but I couldn't hear my voice. I thought something was wrong with me. Is there something wrong? I wanted to talk to the driver. Then suddenly he stopped the car himself, and he turned, he looked at me. I looked in his eyes, and I knew there was something wrong. I didn't know what it was, but I can tell from his eyes.
No officials, no soldiers, just ordinary citizens amid the ruins. For many, the explosion wasn't an accident. It was proof of a corrupt system that had abandoned them. The government's response only deepened the anger. Prime Minister Hassan Diab declared a state of emergency, then resigned within a week under public pressure. Investigations were promised, but every attempt to hold leaders accountable was blocked. Years later, families still wait for justice. International voices from the UN to Pope Francis call for action, but the same politicians remain, the same structures untouched. The Beirut blast wasn't just a tragedy, it was a mirror showing the cost of corruption and negligence. The videos that spread online didn't just show a mushroom cloud, they showed life ending, families shattered, and a city forced to survive alone. For the Lebanese, the images were scars, reopening every time they're replayed. For the world, they're a warning. When greed and carelessness outweigh human lives, disaster isn't just possible, it's inevitable. August 4th, 2020 didn't just slay people, it tore families apart, flattened homes, and left Beirut living with a wound that may never heal. And thanks to the cameras that captured it all, the world will never unsee the day negligence turned into catastrophe. On another home camera, a mother's clip went viral and then mysteriously disappeared from the platform. It shows her young son sleeping when his leg is slowly pulled toward the edge of the bed by something unseen. The child wakes, confused and frightened, and the motion stops as if nothing happened. The mother later said the strange episodes began after she started renovating the old house, leading many to speculate that construction had disturbed something left behind. Critics claim the removed video hints at fabrication, while others insist the footage, especially the boy's genuine reaction, is authentic. Absent the original file, the truth remains frustratingly out of reach. Captured on a tenant's door camera late at night, the footage shows a woman knocking persistently while holding something in her hand. At first it seemed like a random visitor, but as soon as she begins speaking, the atmosphere shifts.
Yeah, I told you I'm from Africa. You know me uptown? No?
Yeah, what you doing up here?
Because I think I was looking for you.
She tells the man inside that she's from Africa, claims she's been looking for him, and even says she likes him.
Yeah, what you doing up here?
Because I think I was looking for you.
What you looking for me for?
I like you.
Her tone is calm, almost rehearsed, but paired with the object she's holding, it comes across as anything but comforting. Many online felt it didn't sound like a chance encounter at all, but more like a setup, possibly even an attempted break-in.
You got the wrong door, man.
No.
Yeah.
I got the right person. Maybe it's the wrong address, please.
The tenant eventually tells her she has the wrong address, yet she insists she's found the right person. The unnerving back and forth left viewers chilled, with a sense that something sinister might have happened if the door had been open. Far from a family home, a security guard monitoring CCTV at Kadena Air Base in Okinawa replayed footage 3 times to be sure his eyes weren't playing tricks. In the black and night, a dark mass seems to form behind a sign, lifts off the ground, glides slowly across the street, pause, then drift back to where it started.
You see?
Yeah, I see the shadow moving.
You see how it moves?
Yeah,
in
it's
this
right,
corner, and
it's right behind the sign, yeah.
and it's gonna fly away in a little bit.
Right there, it's going. Hold on.
You want to see it again? Or rewind?
Hold on. Do you want it?
You see?
Yeah, I see the shadow moving.
You see how it moves?
Yeah,
in
it's
this
right,
corner, and
it's right behind the sign, yeah.
and it's gonna fly away in a little bit.
Right there, it's going. Hold on.
You want to see it again? Or rewind?
Hold on. Do you want it and pause it?
Really? You saw it?
Yep.
Oh, that's game over. Let's see.
The guards watching the monitor were speechless. Locals point to Okinawa's bloody wartime history and claim the island still carries restless echoes, stories of ghostly soldiers appearing near gates, of apparitions so persistent some posts were abandoned. Whether you call it folklore or residue from a violent past, whatever that shape was, it unnerved the men on duty. This body cam footage begins like so many others, routine, almost casual, but over the next several minutes, things quickly escalate into a disturbing confrontation between a father, his teenage son, and responding deputies. Deputies arrive after a 911 call placed by the son reporting a violent argument at home. At first, the father greets the officers, but it doesn't take long for tension to surface.
I believe it was your son?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you come out and talk to me? And can you call him out too?
What's going on?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. What's
Okay.
going on? He called.
What's
us,
going on?
Oh, that's what I'm figuring out.
Okay.
What's going on? Okay. I guess there was some kind of argument between you and him.
Okay.
Okay. So
Teenager.
Yeah, teenager. I get
Yeah.
it.
I'll call my son.
He insists nothing serious has happened, just normal father and son fighting.
Warrant or something?
Well, I need to figure out if there is an arrest or not. So.
For what?
There's no arrest
I got a
warrant.
teenager.
No,
You
you're
have a
fine.
teenager?
Yeah, I'm wondering what happened.
He's a teenager. I'm asleep.
No, I get it. I'm just wondering what's going on.
Thank you, sir. I'll call my son.
Where is he?
He is not here right now, sir.
He's not here?
No, sorry.
Sorry? Yes.
I gotta get to work, sir.
Okay.
What is he?
What's going on?
Well, I heard there was, well, he called us. He said there was some argument between you and him, so that's what I'm wondering about what happened.
You got an easy job.
What do you mean?
You got an easy job, bud.
Okay.
Father, son, argument.
Well, yeah, that's what, I need to talk to both parties to see what's going on.
He's okay right now.
Okay.
You don't have his number?
No, I don't. Well, let me see, actually, maybe.
Okay.
Is he not home?
No, he's not home right now.
Okay. Let me see if I can find his number.
Thank you.
The deputies remain calm, asking simple questions, trying to get both sides of the story, but the father grows defensive, telling them to step off his property and refusing to answer directly. His son, meanwhile, quietly confirms he's the one who called.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, this is Deputy Sonny with King County Sheriff's Office.
All right. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, you're the one who called?
Yeah, I called earlier.
Okay, are you here?
Yeah, I'm in the back right now.
Okay, can you come out? Your father is now very compliant with us, so.
Okay, I'm in socks right now and the back door is locked, so.
Okay.
Hang on, give me a second. All right, thank you, sir.
I'm talking to him right now.
Sure.
So
He's a
when he
minor,
comes
sir.
out?
He's a minor, sir. Thank you.
Is there a mother or anybody else in the house? Okay.
I'm his father. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Can you please give me a little space here, sir?
I'm not. You have the whole door, man.
You're let your man home, sir.
Hey, what's up? All right.
Dude, stay away, please.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Do you have a card, sir?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to talk to you, okay? Just so you know, this is an ongoing investigation, okay?
Good.
You're gonna.
Right here,
okay.
sir?
No, I'm gonna have to talk to you like in person. He's not very compliant.
Hey, how are ya? What's going on, man? Why are we here?
Okay. All right.
So-
I'm a single father. He's a teenager, sir.
So we're here investigating a domestic battery, possibly. So I'd like to get your side of the story.
Sir, I have no comments for right now.
You have no comments.
No, domestic battery?
Mm-hmm.
Father and a son, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, it qualifies.
Thank you, sir.
So you don't want to talk to me.
Sir, this is my son.
I understand. Are you saying you don't want to speak to me?
Sir, what else is there to say?
I need to figure out what happened here. That's why we're here.
When the teen steps forward, he explains that his dad had been drinking and that arguments had become violent. He shows the deputy bruises from recent fights, including being thrown into a chair and struck with it. The story he tells is troubling. He admits this isn't the first time things have turned physical. For days now, fights have escalated, sometimes spilling out into the street. He even shares photos he's taken of the aftermath, proof that the cycle has been going on for far too long.
What caused the argument? Can I take pictures?
Yeah, this is from yesterday.
Okay.
Because we got
He
into a
did that
fight.
yesterday?
Yeah, we were fighting here, and this is from 2 days ago. We were fighting in the middle of the street.
You were fighting in the middle of the street?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was bad. Sorry, I've explained this to so many people, and no one has helped me.
Okay.
I'm just kind of tired of explaining the same thing. So I'm just... Dude, I'm so fed up. Can I just show you photos I've been taking of events that's been leading up? We got into a fight a long time ago. Last time we got this bad where I got injured like this.
Yeah.
We got into a fight where I was trying to take a shower in the morning. There's no hot water. And he comes, I'm still naked, mind you. He comes breaking down the door while I'm still naked and he tries to hit me. I gave him 2 black eyes that day. I'm sure if he shows you a photo of that, you understand. This isn't a new thing. This isn't a new thing.
Go ahead, Colin.
No.
A lot of this is just over. I found out he's been taking my money, which has annoyed me, and he's denied it, and he's tried charging me for it.
Go ahead.
To the office, and you're going to sit for 72 hours while we figure out what's going on. Then why don't you talk to me? Because that's our only other alternative. I'm not going to sit here and play this back and forth game.
I know, sir, but this is my son.
I get
I'm a
it.
single father.
I get it. That's why I want to talk to you. And if you refuse to talk to me, you can go sit in our jail for 3 days. So then, let's talk.
I don't want to leave him, because I do believe he has potential, but he can get like this.
Thank you.
Okay. So then what happened? Why are we here?
Okay. What happened today?
Today, I caught him drinking, and I was like, dude, you can't keep drinking like this. Can you please get up? 6 o'clock, can you please get up? He goes, in the morning, 6 p.m., he's still sleeping. I caught him drinking. I'm like, dude, can you please stop drinking? It's 6 o'clock, please get up. God, shut the fuck up. I don't know how it escalated. He tried to hit me. I defended myself, and that turned him into pushing me into the chair and trying to hit me in the head. Then he moved from the chair and tried to hit me with the white chair that you can see back there just behind him. It's on the floor right now in the kitchen.
And you saw hitting you with the chair, right?
Yeah, no, I defended myself from the chair. Then he tried to go back. It was really fast.
How old is he? He can take care of himself. So again, if you don't want to cooperate, you can go sit in jail for 72 hours.
I'm going to jail for 72 hours.
If you're not going to give me any part of your story, that's a possibility.
The father interrupts often, calling his son's claims exaggerated and insisting he's just a teenager acting out. The officers try to explain that what's happening isn't simply a family squabble. By law, it qualifies as domestic battery.
Or him while we figure out what's going on.
So he's got injuries.
I do believe he can be a cooperative person that doesn't get like this, but I don't know what happened. I seriously don't.
And all the stuff on your left arm is from him?
Today, yesterday, and 2 days ago.
So yesterday they said they had a fight right there.
So from today?
Yeah.
All of this is from yesterday?
Yesterday.
2
days ago.
2 days ago.
And nothing on my head.
And what about this?
That I'm not sure of.
Okay.
That I noticed earlier.
How you doing, Brian?
Hey, come here.
I need you to come out.
Under arrest?
Yes.
What's the charge?
You need to come out.
Okay, can I write a phone number down, sir?
Yeah, I'll give you a second. Let me put you in handcuffs, and then we'll write it down for you. How about that?
Can I talk to my son, please?
No.
Can you
Let
save
him
yourself
up a little.
a little bit of time?
Just walk out.
All right. I was just saying, can I please talk to my son?
Yes, you can, but we have to put you in handcuffs first, okay?
The more the deputies press, the clearer it becomes. They can't simply walk away. The father refuses to give a full statement, and his son's injuries are undeniable. Eventually, the deputies inform the man that unless he cooperates, he will be taken into custody.
Okay. I gotta call a friend, so I make sure
Brian,
the house is secure.
come outside, then make your phone call.
Okay, so, right.
Brian?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to let you know.
Excuse me, I got gas. 376-0215.
I'm going to let you know this now. If this doesn't go smooth,
I got
I'm also charging you with obstruction.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me,
So
sir.
make this as easy as possible.
Yes, sir. I'm not gonna.
Drop the cigarette. Put it out.
Hey, man, can you help me out here, please? Man, this is my son, man. Come
You gotta
on.
put out the cigarette. Come on, put the cigarette out, brother.
Tell you what, if you're going to cooperate
Yeah.
and you stick to your word, I'll let you finish the cigarette.
All right, yes, sir. Yes,
But if
sir.
you're going to be a jackass...
Yeah, I know. Hey, buddy, I'm not trying to be a jackass.
I'm just letting you know.
Yes, sir.
The way you were with me at the door pretty well signaled that you were going to be a jackass.
Yeah, you don't deserve that.
So
disrespect.
if you're going to cooperate,
Yes, sir. Yes,
I'll
sir.
let you finish the cigarette.
Thank you, sir.
But we're going to do it out here.
Okay.
At this point, the body cam captures the father pleading, saying he's a single dad and doesn't want to abandon his son, but the deputies remind him that domestic battery cases aren't optional. The state itself is the complainant. The tone shifts as deputies move to place him under arrest. He stalls, asks to call a friend, and even bargains to finish a cigarette, but the outcome is inevitable.
Just finish your cigarette, and then we're going to do what we have to do.
Yo, could you please?
Brian,
Can you please stand there?
just finish your cigarette, and we're going to do what we have to
Single
do.
dad, man. Come on.
I get it. That's called tampering with a witness.
It's
So
not.
You know
it's
your
best
rights,
just to
you
keep
know
your mouth
everything,
shut.
brother. I don't have to tell you nothing.
Stop talking to him, or we're going to get rid of the cigarette. And we're
It's
gonna
just more charges are adding to if you're
Whoa, whoa,
talking.
whoa,
So stop talking. We're not charging you, but if you could stop talking, brother.
Just finish
Trust
your
me.
cigarette, and then let's get this over with. So
We're charging.
Oh, okay.
here's the thing with these charges.
Yes, sir.
He may be the victim, but it's domestic battery, so the state becomes the complainant.
How's this thing, man?
The way Illinois law is codified
Yes, sir.
is
Yes, sir.
victims in a domestic battery situation, the state becomes the victim. The state places a high severity on
yes.
domestic battery.
This is my son, a single dad.
I get it.
He's going through some teenage stuff, man.
I
He's
get
going
it.
through some really tough
He's
teenage
also
stuff.
got injuries.
Injuries from what, Sam?
Hey.
Would you? Oh, I'm sorry.
Stop it. Finish the cigarette.
Who's pressing the charges? You?
I am.
Come on. Come on, brother.
There's no come on.
Would you please reconsider, man?
I literally don't have a choice. If I don't arrest you, I go to jail. Anything on you that's gonna poke me, stick me, stab me? You got any bullets?
No.
With cuffs finally placed, Officers walk him out. He tries one last time to appeal, asking them to reconsider, but the deputies explain their hands are tied. His son will remain at the home while he's taken into custody. In the end, the man is charged with domestic battery. Deputies document the son's injuries, ensure he has food, water, and a safe place to stay, and close out the call. What started as a father insisting on his rights ended in arrest, because when violence is involved, it's no longer just a family matter, it's the law. The man was officially booked on domestic battery charges. Do you think the deputies handled this the right way? Security footage uploaded online shows a man and woman trapped inside an elevator, and what happens next is deeply unnerving. The man appears frantic, holding a stool like a weapon, swinging at something invisible. His movements are jerky, panicked, as though he's fighting off a presence no one else can see. The woman stands silently pressed against the corner, clearly frightened by both his erratic behavior and whatever unseen force seems to be driving him to act this way. At one point, the stool is ripped from his hands, though skeptics insist he simply threw it. When the doors finally open, the man bolts out, leaving the terrified woman behind. This strange video drew instant comparisons to the infamous elevator game, an online ritual said to open a doorway to another world if a strict sequence of floors is followed. While there's no proof that's what's happening here, the man's bizarre behavior and the suggestion of an invisible presence struck a nerve. October 12, 1960, Tokyo, Japan. What was supposed to be a routine political debate at Hibiya Hall turned into one of the most shocking moments ever caught on live TV. 17-year-old Otoya Yamaguchi ran onto the stage and stabbed Japan's Socialist Party leader, Injiro Asanuma, with a foot-long samurai sword. This wasn't some pocket knife. It was a traditional yoridoshi blade, a weapon that had once been carried into battle centuries earlier, now plunged into modern politics.
取材においでになってるわけですけれども、これはもう取材の余地がないほど騒々しいございますので、この際静粛にお話を伺いまして、この後進めたいと思います。それではお待たせしました。どうぞ。選挙の際は国民に評判の悪い政策は全部捨てておいて、選挙が多数を占めると。
The hall was packed, 10,000 people including the sitting prime minister. Cameras were rolling nationwide when suddenly a teenager in a school uniform lunged at Asanuma. He struck once, and the socialist leader collapsed instantly. Security rushed in to restrain Yamaguchi, but the damage was done. Asanuma was dead before he even reached the hospital. Japan had just witnessed a political assassination live on television. Asanuma was a charismatic figure, known as the human locomotive for his energy and presence. He led the Socialist Party in opposition to the ruling conservatives. His 1959 trip to Beijing, where he publicly sided with Communist China and criticized the US, had made him a lightning rod for right-wing nationalists. And when he returned wearing a Mao-style suit, that was the last straw for ultra-nationalist groups like the Yoku Dantai, who believed they were defending Japan's honor and spirit. Yamaguchi was part of that world. At the debate, about 100 members of these far-right groups were already there to heckle. But Yamaguchi didn't just want to shout, he wanted to make a bloody statement, and with cameras capturing every second, he did. A photo by Yasushi Nagao would later become iconic. It froze the moment Yamaguchi raised the sword for a second strike while Asanuma's body crumbled. Politically, the assassination backfired on the socialists. They tried to rally sympathy ahead of the next election, but the conservative Liberal Democratic Party won a landslide. Yamaguchi's own story ended just 3 weeks later. In his juvenile detention cell, he hanged himself with bedsheets. Before dying, he scrawled a message on the wall in toothpaste. 7 lives for my country. Long live His Imperial Majesty, the Emperor. A phrase echoing a 14th century samurai's last words. To some ultranationalists, he became a martyr, a young man who gave his life for the emperor. To the public, he was a teenager who committed a shocking act of political violence. The assassination revealed more than just the fragility of a single life. It exposed deep divisions in post-war Japan. Socialism versus conservatism, ties with China versus the West, tolerance versus extremism. Ordinary citizens watched a teenager slay a prominent politician live on TV, and the memory of that day left a permanent scar. Even today, Nagao's photo and the broadcast are remembered as some of the most haunting images and footage in Japanese history. This wasn't just a murder. It was a spectacle that showed how ideology can drive even a young person to commit an act of extreme violence. A camera prowling the moonlit aisles of Lincoln Cathedral captured something that has haunted viewers since 2015. While filming the Gothic stonework, the operator catches a pale face peeking around a corner for a heartbeat before vanishing. The bells toll in the background as a photographer rounds the same corner and finds no one. The cathedral has housed sorrow for centuries. Its history includes mass graves from the Black Death and a well steeped in legend. Locals tell tales of figures wandering the rounds on certain anniversaries. Was the pale glimpse a lost child from a plague burial, a trick of light, or simply a modern imagination finding shape in ancient stones? Look one more time and decide for yourself. A chilling video shows the exact moment hikers are caught on the slopes of a volcano as it suddenly erupts. What starts as a calm trek across the mountainside instantly turns into chaos as ash, smoke, and molten debris blast into the sky without warning.
Vou fazer bem fortinho agora. Tá caindo as pedras. Olha lá. Nossa Senhora.
The eruption is violent, sending thick plumes of volcanic ash raining down around the group. A guide's voice cuts through the panic, urgently instructing the hikers to stay low and keep calm as glowing fragments of rock fall dangerously close. In moments like this, panic can be as deadly as the eruption itself. One misstep on the steep slope could have sent someone tumbling into the chaos below. This footage is a terrifying reminder of how fast nature can turn on you and just how thin the line is between awe and disaster. A man named Fabio has gone viral for what he claims is proof of telekinesis, the ability to move objects with the mind. In the clip, he sits before a large wooden log, staring at it with intense focus. After several tense seconds, the log begins to roll forward on its own. Believers say this is undeniable proof of psychic ability, but skeptics argue there are simpler explanations: hidden wires, uneven ground, or even subtle camera tricks. The debate echoes decades of fascination with telekinesis, from seance table tipping in the 19th century to parapsychologists in the 20th century trying and failing to prove it under controlled conditions. Whether genuine or staged, the video continues a long tradition of so-called demonstrations that walk the line between paranormal phenomenon and performance. Still, the sight of the heavy log shifting with no visible push is eerie enough to keep the legend of telekinesis alive. Not all disturbing encounters sound like centuries-old legend. Some are raw and immediate. A clip shared by a Spanish-language channel shows two women praying over a girl racked by violent convulsions and screams. Her body tenses uncontrollably, her eyes roll and seem unfocused, and nothing the attendants do appears to calm her. Whether it's an extreme psychological break, an acute traumatic reaction, or something people label possession, the scene is harrowing and hard to watch. Whatever explanation you prefer, the footage leaves a lasting impression of a human being in terrible, inexplicable distress. This next video shows an unexpected and dangerous incident right outside a factory. At first, nothing seems unusual until a faint leak begins to hiss from a wall near the entrance. Within seconds, the harmless-looking vapor transforms into something deadly. The gas ignites in a sudden flash, erupting into a powerful explosion that shakes the surrounding area. Flames consume the wall, and debris is hurled outward as workers and bystanders scramble for safety. The blast tears into the building's exterior, leaving twisted metal and scorched concrete in its wake. Miraculously, reports confirm no one was hurt, but the destruction serves as a chilling reminder of the risks that come with handling flammable substances. In an instant, what seemed like a minor leak became a devastating fireball, proof that when it comes to gas in industrial sites, even the smallest oversight can end in catastrophe. Reports state that this tragedy took place in Fuzhou, China, sometime in 2025. Although the precise date was unknown, an elderly guy lost his balance on a store escalator, and the woman standing next to him quickly intervened by grasping his arm and averting a far worse situation. Other customers and employees hurried to his aid and were able to take him away from the escalator without incident. A late-night security feed from a computer lab seemed ordinary until the small noises grew into something else. A man working between terminals freezes when an alarm blares behind him. He checks the room, shrugs it off, then it happens again. A sudden bang, a chair dragged across the floor, then silence. He runs out. The camera's 360-degree view later reveals a light snapping on in an adjacent room, a door slamming. And in a reflection, a faint shadowy figure staring back. The footage plays like a horror short, the sounds you hear in the moment and the ghosts you see only when you rewind. On September 9th, 2025, tragedy struck in Chiang Mai, Thailand. A water delivery truck lost control while rounding a curve and slammed into a power pole. The crash was so violent it triggered a chain reaction unlike anything locals had ever seen. Over 50 utility poles toppled one after another, stretching nearly a full kilometer. The destruction was massive. Fires broke out, power lines littered the streets, and entire neighborhoods were plunged into darkness. Reports confirmed the truck's driver was rushed to the hospital with severe injuries. His passenger, however, was not as fortunate. That passenger was Ty, a well-known singer and winner of The Voice Thailand in 2017. Despite CPR being administered at the scene and emergency transport to the hospital, he did not survive. Through the night, 7 emergency crews worked tirelessly to cut tangled wires, remove the wreckage, and restore access to the road. The damage was so widespread that authorities officially declared the site a disaster zone. What started as a single accident left behind devastation, loss, and a community struggling to recover in its wake. The next clip captures a terrifying moment outside an apartment building. A man stands trapped on the ledge of his first-floor balcony, clinging desperately as smoke pours from his home. With flames and thick smoke blocking his escape inside, his only option is to hang on to the railing as panic builds below. Bystanders rush into action, quickly realizing they need to act fast. First, they move a parked car out of the way, clearing the ground beneath them. Then, working together, they stretched out a bedsheet like an improvised safety net. The man hesitates, terrified that the sheet won't hold him, but his grip is failing. Finally, he slips, tumbling from the balcony. Instead of hitting the concrete below, he lands safely in the outstretched sheet. The coordinated effort of strangers turns what could have been a tragedy into a successful rescue. This clip shows how in moments of crisis, courage and teamwork can truly make the difference between life and death. A vacation snapshot from a waterfall in Indonesia turned into a piece of real-life uncanny. A group photo that at first glance looks normal until you zoom beyond the falls and spot a robed figure standing motionless in the background, face obscured, watching the party. No one remembers another person on the path. Some locals point to legends tied to the falls. Others worry the image shows a mourning presence from some old accident. Whatever it is, the photograph captured something they didn't notice until it was already too late. A photo captured by a cat feeder camera has sparked intense debate online. The black and white night vision shot shows a living room with a sofa on the right. At first glance, everything appears normal, until viewers notice the faint outline of a human-shaped figure standing near the couch. Some insist it's nothing more than a shadow, while others are convinced it's a silhouette of a person who had somehow slipped into the home unnoticed. More chilling still are the comments suggesting it might not be a person at all, but rather a ghostly presence accidentally caught on camera. The debate quickly escalated, with some urging the homeowner to call the police immediately, while others argued that if no break-in evidence was found, then something paranormal may be to blame. Regardless of which explanation you believe, the eerie figure remains one of the most unsettling caught-on-camera moments circulating online.
Which are thermal, so they are not risking anything. I'm going to continue in the testing and the next, but my views have not changed on treatment. I'm not going to do any dialysis, chemo, radiations, or infusions. I will agree to surgery, but it's to repair or correct, but I am not having anything removed unless they know what's causing the failure.
A cancer patient's private treatment diary is read aloud by dental staff on video, then posted online. Outrage is immediate.
In my opinion, if they can't stop it, stop it, removing the bad parts will only lead the good bad sooner. If the failure continues, taking parts out is pointless if they don't know the cause. I am not sure if there are any other treatment options. If so, I'll make those choices as I go. If they are a lot, if it's this failure...
The clinic apologizes and terminates those involved. HEPA isn't a suggestion, it's the point. British ghost hunters scanning an old burial ground thought they'd staged a late-night investigation until a flashlight beam crossed a tall, dark silhouette beside a row of headstones.
What the f was that?
They flooded the area with light and found no structure to cast that shadow. For a second, it felt undeniable. A tall figure standing where nothing should be. Whether it was an optical oddity or evidence of something more, the team's footage remains an unnerving reminder that some places keep secrets best left unprobed. Under no circumstances should anyone put themselves on or near a moving part of machinery. Before beginning any work in proximity to gears, belts, or rotating parts, the equipment must not only be powered down, but also locked and tagged out. This ensures there is no chance of accidental startup, preventing the machine from being re-energized while a worker is still in a danger zone. A family camera recorded a string of unnerving events in a home where a mother and her kids slept on the floor. Toys shift on their own. An object rattles across a room and wakes the parents. A light flicks on and off. The mother, used to small oddities, is startled when an item is thrown from the sink and everyone awakens at once. And then, in a split second captured on video, a pale face peeks around a doorway. Viewers are split between those who see a genuine paranormal moment and those who suspect clever staging. Either way, the footage has kept this household awake long after the cameras were turned off.
Call the police! Give me my money! Hey, take a picture of their license plates real quick. Shit, I don't give a I'm gonna call the police. Okay, call the police. Give me my money. Did you tell me how to count? Give me my money. Don't put your... Then get out my face without a mask on. Move. How about that? Move. Now. Get out my face. Move. Oh, I can do it too. I can do it too. F you. See, you cussed at me first. Get out my face. Give me my money. Give me my money.
A shortchanged customer demands a single missing dollar. The manager threatens, brandishes a pot of hot coffee, and refuses to return tax.
Give me my money. Give me my money. Give me my money. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. Give me my money. Let her do it. Hot coffee is not good. Give me my money. I want my money. Give me my money. Damn. What the f*** you talking about? Give me my mother dollar. I done gave the man his money. You're not giving him nothing. No, you didn't. $8.10 for his meal, which was $8.59. Taxes was 58 cents. No, it wasn't. Taxes back. No, it wasn't. My shit came to $9.11 at all. It came to $9.11. Look at my ticket. It was $10.17. 9.11. 106 and 10.17. Well, give me my other dollar. Give me my other dollar. You're going to jail. You said what? Maria. Hey, tell me to give me my other dollar. Yes, they can. They're out here. Give me my other dollar. Whoa.
Hey, here goes somebody. You missed everything. Did you listen? Did you just miss everything? $1. He mad about $1.
She owe me $1. She gonna give me $8.10. My order came to 10.17, bro. My girl got a mother pop. It's 106 minus 10.17 is 9.11. She owe me $1.
Police arrive for $1. Pride, costlier than inflation. It's critical never to step onto a roof or elevated surface without being secured to an anchor point with a fall harness and lifeline. As this clip demonstrates, working on loose or unstable materials such as unsecured roof panels poses a serious risk, making a sudden slip or collapse likely. In this video, a massive ship battles the fury of the North Sea in the middle of a violent storm. Filmed from the bridge, the footage is enough to trigger thalassophobia in anyone watching. Towering waves slam into the vessel, rising like walls of water and crashing across the deck with deafening force. Every time the bow rises, another wave slams against it, sending sheets of spray cascading over the steel frame. The vessel creaks and groans, but it presses on, its reinforced hull designed for exactly these moments. The crew inside the bridge remains steady, though it's clear the storm is testing every inch of the ship's strength. It's hard not to imagine what it must have been like centuries ago, when sailors faced storms like this in fragile wooden ships with little more than ropes and sails. Now here, survival depends on sheer engineering and determination. One slip overboard in seas like these, and you'd be gone without a trace. When using an extension ladder like the one shown, it needs to be set at the proper angle and secured at both ends. A spotter should hold the base firmly from a safe, stable stance. Always confirm that the ladder is in good condition and that locks and braces are locked in place before anyone climbs.
I want you to go home. I don't care if I have to be here till 12. Stop trying to clock back in. I want you to clock out and leave this store. So what you gonna do if I know? Huh? What you gonna do if I know? I'm gonna call Miss Cheryl and tell her to get you the fuck out of here. I'm gonna call Miss Cheryl myself. Like, stop playing with me. You being ignorant. Bro, no. You must get some pot or something. Oh my God, man.
A manager tells an employee to clock out and leave.
Oh, fuck out. Just go, man. I'm not going nowhere. Like, I'm cool. I will make my dude come up and step the fuck out you. For what? You know he will. For what? You know he will. So stop playing with me. I don't care if he will or not, girl. I want you to leave and I want you to leave now. That's the whole point. What you gonna do if I know? Nothing. Well, you off the clock anyway. I'm not clock. I'm clock back in. You ain't gonna do shit. You ain't. No, you right. You ain't gonna clock back in, girl. You ain't gonna clock back in.
She threatens to bring someone to handle it.
Nothing, man. Stop lying. What? I don't do nothing, man. I so you saw last week, man. I just want you to leave.
Trying to explain.
You said that you want to get off the clock and go home, so you can go home. I'm waiting on my ride, like I said. Get your stupid ass on. Well, then you can wait in the lobby, man. No, I'm not.
It's dinner theater for everyone waiting on Whoppers and probable grounds for termination. Inside a facility, marked walkways and clear signage are essential for safety. If you're riding a bicycle and notice no designated pathways, you must proceed with extreme caution. Similarly, never begin a lathe operation with a workpiece loose or improperly clamped. The immense rotational force of the lathe can instantly turn the material into a high-speed projectile. This next clip captures a dangerous recovery attempt on the edge of a steep slope. A car has become stuck, its rear wheels teetering dangerously close to the drop. Several men gather around trying to push the vehicle back onto the road while the driver hits the gas. At first, it seems like they might succeed, but suddenly, the tires lose traction. The car lurches backward, the ground gives way, and in an instant, the vehicle tumbles violently down the slope. Metal crunches and dirt flies as the car flips out of control. Remarkably, the driver reacts quickly enough to leap free just before the vehicle goes over the edge. He takes a small tumble but escapes with minor injuries. It's a shocking reminder how quickly a risky situation can spiral, and how sheer luck can be the only thing standing between survival and tragedy. This tumultuous incident occurred in Brazil on September 7, 2025. A close youngster had some of their hair singed but was not gravely hurt, and a mother was abruptly enveloped in flames. After seeing the video, I think it's more likely that an open flame or another flammable object close to her body started the fire, which was first reported to have been sparked by an overheating cell phone. There are no verified facts regarding the woman's condition or the precise locations of this recording. Here, a reckless decision at a railroad crossing nearly ends in disaster. The warning lights flash, the bells ring, and the barriers lower, all clear signs that a train is approaching. But instead of stopping, the driver presses forward, determined to beat the oncoming locomotive. As the car edges across the tracks, the train barrels through, slamming into the vehicle with devastating force. The car spins away from the point of impact, its frame twisted and broken. The sheer power of the collision is enough to make you hold your breath. Whether the driver was distracted or simply thought he could outrun the train, the outcome proves how foolish the gamble was. This time he lived, but the footage makes one thing clear. When you try to race a train, there is only ever one winner. This next clip comes straight out of Southern California, and it looks like something out of an action movie gone wrong. Late at night, police were in pursuit of a narcotic suspect driving a minivan. But this wasn't just any chase. From the back of the vehicle, a shower of sparks lit up an interstate, so bright that even news helicopters could spot the trail from the sky. The eerie glow followed the minivan like a burning fuse, and officers knew they had to act quickly. The suspect kept creeping forward, refusing to stop, while police stayed hot on his trail. Eventually, he pulled over and made a run for it. What followed was a desperate chase, both on foot and by patrol car, until officers finally tackled him to the ground and placed him in custody. But here's where it gets even scarier. Just moments after he abandoned the minivan, flames erupted from the vehicle. The sparks had ignited something inside, and within seconds, the entire van was engulfed in fire. If the suspect had stayed inside even a little longer, this pursuit could have ended in a far more horrifying way. In the end, fleeing the car may have saved his life, but running from the police didn't. He was taken into custody, and the burning wreck was left behind as a fiery reminder of just how quickly things can turn deadly. Workers cut what they believe was an inactive gas line. 6 minutes after evacuation and fire alarms, the building erupts, floors collapsing into the basement. One employee is killed, several injured.
I don't really smell any smoke, I don't see any fire, so I was kind of like, well, maybe this is like a false alarm.
A fire has been reported in the building.
As soon as we exit the building, we probably took a matter of 2 steps, and next thing you know, kaboom, like the building just explodes behind us. And then you just see smoke. You see smoke, I see things flying, my glasses flew off. I don't even know where my glasses are. And all I remember thinking is just like, my son.
A reminder that out of service must mean exactly that. On the Cordoba-Veracruz highway near Veracruz, Mexico, on September 9, 2025, a truck carrying beer collided with a passenger bus run by ADO, one of the biggest inner-city bus companies in the nation. Both cars caught fire and burned fully as a result of the collision. Both drivers were among the at least 14 persons hurt, according to reports, but they were all transported to surrounding hospitals and are now in stable condition. In order to ascertain the reason of the collision, authorities have launched an inquiry, taking into account potential factors like speeding or mechanical failure. A young girl returns home, entering her apartment building as a man loiters nearby. At first, he appears to be waiting casually, but as soon as she opens the door, his true intentions become clear. He lunges forward, trying to slip in behind her. Instinctively, the girl ducks under his arm and bolts back outside, narrowly avoiding being trapped. The man, feigning innocence, moves toward the elevator as if nothing happened, but when she takes the stairs instead, he follows close behind. Thinking quickly, the girl presses multiple doorbells on a random floor. Within seconds, a resident opens their door, and the would-be abductor flees the building, his plan completely thwarted. Thanks to her quick reaction and presence of mind, the girl escaped unharmed. This unsettling encounter is a stark reminder of the importance of awareness and fast thinking, skills that in this case may very well have saved her life. This video was taken on September 14, 2025 in St. Petersburg, Russia. When the pedestrian signal was red, a 32-year-old guy crossed the intersection and was hurt. Reports state that he was not aware of the truck's approach since he was using headphones. Despite having severe injuries when he was brought to the hospital, his condition was subsequently described as stable. As you watch this video, it's difficult to imagine how one distraction may quickly escalate into something so dangerous.
Are you happy now? Are you happy? You see how upset I am? You're coming in here being nasty to me. Oh my God, here, take $7. Here, you know what? I don't even care. Just take it all.
Pressed on a refund and filmed at the register, a cashier unravels throwing money, then storming out, threatening self-harm.
Take it the off. Here.
Good language. Good language.
I quit, lady.
Good language.
I quit. Somebody call Diane right now. I'm going to myself. I swear to God, I'm done. I am done. I hope you're happy, lady.
I am.
Record this.
I am recording it. I am recording
in traffic right now.
Good.
I'm going to myself. I hope you're happy.
Get ahead.
I hope you're happy.
Get ahead.
Thankfully, she doesn't follow through. Viral clips rarely show the burnout that came before the blowup.
The bridge is up. I'm going to have him stuck here. Hold there.
A high-speed chase in Seattle ended with one of the most dangerous stunts ever caught on camera.
He actually made the jump over the bridge.
Police say they were pursuing a suspect behind the wheel of a car with stolen plates. The chase wound through quiet residential streets before it reached a raised drawbridge, seemingly trapping the driver with nowhere left to run. But instead of stopping, the suspect floored it. In a shocking moment that looked straight out of an action movie, the vehicle launched itself across the open gap of the drawbridge. Against all odds, the car actually made the jump.
He actually made the jump over the bridge.
Officers on the scene were stunned. What they had just witnessed was reckless enough to cost lives. Yet somehow, the driver landed the stunt and kept going. Witnesses compared it to something out of the Dukes of Hazzard. But this wasn't fiction. This was a real street, a real chase, and a real driver willing to risk everything. The getaway didn't last long. Police later discovered the vehicle abandoned. The suspect nowhere to be found. To this day, the investigation remains open, and the daring bridge jump has left viewers questioning just how far some people will go to escape the law.
Oh, here we go. Perfect. Okay, we're not going to pursue this vehicle, but you get in the area and drop. Yeah.
On Friday, September 19th, 2025, just after 5 p.m., Columbus police officers on uninformed patrol attempted a traffic stop near Fairwood Avenue and Phoebus Avenue. The driver, later identified as Deontis William Spencer, refused to stop and instead continued on before finally pulling over in the 1400 block of Burstock Road. The moment the vehicle came to a halt, William Spencer bolted from the car with a gun in his hand. Ignoring repeated commands to stop and drop the weapon, he ran through the area with officers close behind.
Let me see your
hand! I will shoot you!
During the pursuit, he turned back toward an officer while still holding the firearm. In response, the officer discharged his weapon, striking William Spencer.
He's got a gun! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! I will shoot you! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Put the gun down! Drop it! 10-3, shots fired.
Shots fired, 10-3.
Don't reach for the gun!
Do not reach!
Do not move! Do not move! Get the gun! Let's get him cuffed! Cuff him up! Taking one into custody now. Go get some medical aid. Shut all this down. Where are you hit? Let's get some. Don't touch it. Get a tourniquet on him. Which leg is it? His right leg. Left leg. Cut him off.
Stay right there. Do not fucking move. You gotta go back up. Hey, I'm not gonna
do your job. Do your job. Watch.
Hey.
What do you need? You're good.
He was quickly taken into custody, and officers provided immediate medical aid until fire department medics arrived.
Friend, you got shears to cut these off? You got shears to cut these off? To make sure. Are you shot in your other leg? Are you shot in your other leg?
Yes!
Okay, another tourniquet.
Get back!
He said he shot in this one too. You got
full leg.
I got you.
Keep the crowd off of us, please. Get scene tape off immediately and get everybody to fuck away from it.
Go to hospital.
Back up!
Back up!
I need officer support right now, too.
Officer support?
You want to just take him?
Sorry it took so long. You're good. You're good. Damn, can't get this stuff. Good? Give me a camera.
They're bailing. On the fucking ground! Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands! Hands! I got my driver's license. What is going on? They're running northbound on Burnside. I got my driver's license. Would you like to see my driver's license? I don't have nothing on me. My partner's running northbound. I don't know. She got a gun. I don't know. We didn't do it. Hey, stay back! Stay back! I don't know. He ran. I'm trying to show you my driver's license. I don't want you to reach for anything. Can you grab it in my purse? I don't. Oh my God! What are you doing? 10-3, 10-3. 10-3, 10-3. Do not reach! Do not reach! Do not reach! Do not move! Get back! Start us at 24. Oh! My f***ing leg! No! Oh! Oh!
Stay right there. Do not move. You gotta go back there.
Hey, I'm not gonna have to take it. Oh, the car. Hey.
What do you need?
Shut down the road. Right there, we're coming in the first
Hey,
time.
got the car back there.
Friend, you got shears to cut these off? You got shears to cut these off? Can make sure he's... Are you shot in your other leg? Are you shot in your other leg?
Yes!
Okay,
He shot low leg. It's low leg.
I got it.
Right coming in. Keep the crowd off of us, please. Get team tape off immediately. Get everybody the fuck away.
Back up!
35, 12 guys. Need officer support right now, too, please. Copy any officer support. 7251, we're going officer support.
He was transported to a nearby hospital where he was listed in stable condition. William Spencer now faces charges of obstructing official business, a 5th-degree felony, and aggravated menacing, a 1st-degree misdemeanor. His girlfriend, who was present, was not charged. Fortunately, no officers were injured during the incident. An officer jumps out to break up a fight and forgets the handbrake. Suddenly, he's chasing his own cruiser. Police work now with extra cardio.
Come, Mama, come.
Hey, hey.
I love you, Mama. Oh, thank you. I love you, Mama. Oh, thank you. Where do you live? The mom left? You live here? Yes, Mama. They come, yes.
Doorbell camera footage captured by Hamilton, Canada Police Department demonstrates a daring distraction theft in action. The event took place at Flamborough on September 8, 2025. In the video, an elderly lady is called to the door by a woman who discreetly steals her actual gold necklace while greeting her as though they knew one another, hugging her, and even putting on phony jewelry. With 43 examples already reported in Hamilton this year, almost equal the total for the entire previous year, authorities question that distraction thefts like this are becoming more common. Residents, particularly the elderly, are being advised by officials to exercise caution and refrain from making needless physical contact with strangers. Typically, incidents involving disruptive passengers are more common in buses or trains, rarely occurring on airplanes where passengers are often seen as part of an upper-class demographic and proper behavior is expected. However, on American Airlines Flight 1802 from Los Angeles to Salt Lake City, exhibiting blatant racism and disrespect, he spent much of the flight yelling incoherently at the flight crew, with slurred speech indicating his intoxicated state.
Glory went off. Wrong day. Sit. You are being power hungry bunch of son of a. That's all you're.
Armstrong's tirade wasn't limited to the flight crew. He directed his unfiltered anger at passengers as well. He made obscene gestures, frequently flipping off the flight crew, and refused to sit down despite their instructions.
What? What are you gonna kick me off this flight? I'm already here.
Even when seated, Armstrong was restless, constantly muttering to himself.
Oh, but that's what they think of America.
As soon as the plane landed, waiting police officers promptly arrested him. Subsequent tests revealed his high level of intoxication.
I think of America as not disgrace. I think of America as not disgrace. Really? Really? Really?
Armstrong resisted arrest, screaming as he was taken into custody. He now faces charges of disorderly conduct and public intoxication. A concerning video has surfaced online, raising questions about child endangerment and potential insurance fraud. The footage shows a woman standing with a young child on the sidewalk. As a van approaches, the woman grabs the child and pulls them towards the van, seemingly attempting to stage an accident. When the van avoids contact, the woman falls dramatically to the ground. This incident highlights the dangers of staged accidents and the potential legal consequences. Law enforcement should investigate the situation to ensure the child's safety and determine if any crimes were committed. It's important to remember that insurance fraud is a serious offense. The following scenario unfolds rapidly on a highway. A group of individuals, possibly linked to criminal activity, forcefully stops a car. Brandishing weapons, they direct the occupants towards a separate vehicle. Being confronted by a large armed group often leaves little room for immediate resistance. In such situations, prioritizing your safety is crucial. Complying with their demands may be the most prudent course of action at the moment. Following the kidnapping, the perpetrators quickly enter their vehicle and flee the scene. Fortunately, law enforcement intervened and apprehended the criminals shortly after the abduction. Thanks for watching. Stay vigilant, friends.